So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the words of Jesus. What does Jesus say? Last week we looked at the Romans Road. But now we're going to look into the words of Jesus Christ himself, because you know what? Jesus said a lot of stuff about salvation. Jesus explained how to get saved in the Gospels. And so we're going to look at those tonight. Back to Luke 12:8. So Jesus says, I tell you, whoever publicly acknowledges me before others, the Son of Man will also acknowledge before the angels of God. So what we're looking at is this publicly acknowledge, because this is the key here. What do you have to do in order for Jesus to acknowledge you before the angels of God? You have to publicly acknowledge Jesus. So we need to know what that means. So what does that mean? Publicly acknowledge. So when Luke wrote that, he was quoting Jesus, he used this word. This is the original Greek word that Luke used when he wrote this. Homologeo. Homologeo. Okay, and so here's what it means. Now, I hope you guys can see this. When I put these slides together, I didn't realize I was going to look so small. So I hope you can read this. Here's the definition of that Greek word, homologeo. Okay? So when Jesus said, you publicly confess, you publicly acknowledge me, this is what he meant. To confess, to acknowledge, to agree, to promise, to publicly declare, to praise or celebrate. Okay, and then so that's the definition, but here's the usage note. Now, this gives you like the cultural way that it is used. So that's just as important. So it primarily means to confess or to acknowledge something openly and publicly. In the New Testament, it is often used in the context of confessing faith in Jesus Christ or acknowledging one's sins. It implies a verbal declaration that aligns with one's beliefs or truths that are recognized. Okay, so remember, when we hear in our English brains, we hear publicly acknowledge or we hear confess, we think spoken word. So just something like saying, I believe in Jesus. But according to this original word, the meaning is much deeper than that. It's much more than just confessing or acknowledging. It's agreeing. So it's what you think. It's what you believe. It's actually what you worship. You praise and celebrate. So it's much deeper than just spoken words. It's everything about your beliefs, what you worship, what you believe in your mind about Jesus. So when Jesus says this, whoever homologeo me before others, what he's saying is much more than just saying it. It's what you believe, what you worship. If you worship me, if you believe me.